Loading snacks.
What's good, Loading Snacks Universe? Your boy Jokes is here. Got the homie Sin, I got the homie Gage. And it's time for another episode of Spoiler Boys.
Spoiler Boys.
Cool. And we are here to continue our journey through season 2 of Loki with episode 3. Episode named 1893. It's a year. Cool, whatever. But we are here to spoil this episode and talk about it. Gentlemen, are you ready to go into some details about this episode?
Yes, sir. Let's do it.
Dig it. So, per the usual, let's go ahead and go around the room and let's get a feel for this episode. Sin, where are you at currently with this episode?
I'm at an 8. I like the backdrop of the Chicago Fair through the majority of the episode. Thought it looked good. And I like Jonathan Majors as Victor Timely. I really enjoyed that. So I'm at 8 right now.
We're going to talk about some Victor Timely. Gage, where are you at on this episode?
I'm at a 7.
Sin, I'm actually with you. I'm at an 8. I enjoyed this episode. I don't know if the word cohesiveness is the word to use for this episode, but I felt like it was a little bit better than what it was with the last episode. I know you didn't necessarily get some of your resolution probably from the last episode, Gage, but I still think this one was.
It's just time travel stuff, though. It's just time travel.
But you got to remember, he said he's going forward. He's got to lower those type of expectations and just look at it in a different light.
Yeah, I'm just.
Go
there are things I like about the episode, and there are things I don't like about the episode. There are more things that I like about the episode than don't like about the episode. So the episode's not a 5. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
You know what I mean? It's a 7, but like there's still
there's issues. There's still issues.
Yeah, just talk about the show, dog.
You know
what I'm saying? Because I don't want to hijack the joint.
And I'm looking forward to know what those issues are. Because like last week, there might have been something that just went over my head that I didn't catch on to. You know what I mean?
I was just getting ready to say, I'm not here to try to talk your 8s down.
It's all good. Go ahead and poke holes. Go ahead and poke your holes, and let's see if we can work our way back. If it happens, it happens.
Mostly, I just have a lot of questions about just certain things, which I'm concerned about whether or not they managed to answer those questions or not. Yeah. I think that's really what it comes down to. And so, I think when you're doing a show, I think I've just learned, especially at this point, even only 3 episodes in with this show, that the way that Marvel is doing shows, that a lot of times there are just unanswered questions, loopholes, things that don't necessarily make sense that they just never double back to. You know what I mean? And so those kinds of things like plot holes and stuff like that are just kind of tricky. There's a lot of very interesting things that happen in this episode that I'm like, that's cool if it pans out, but I don't know if it's gonna pan out. You know what I mean? And so right now I can't look at it and go, oh, action was cool. You know what I mean? So this joint's an 8. Nah, it doesn't. You know what I mean? It just doesn't. It doesn't work like that for me. So, but maybe y'all will talk me into bringing mine up. We'll see what happens.
We can give it a shot. We'll see how things go along with it. But let's go ahead and we'll do a little bit of a walkthrough, and then we may do a little jumping. But the episode does open, and we finally get to see Ravonna Renslayer. So now we have finally gotten to see her in the episode. You guys did call that one. It was it's about time that she does show up. And she does show up in 1868 on the Sacred Timeline. I feel like we have to specifically say these things as we start hopping through time. in Chicago. You know, she looks out of place, and she's clearly looking for somebody, and it turns out that somebody was Miss Minutes. So within the first not even 2 minutes of the episode,
welcome both of you.
We get Renslayer and Miss Minutes into this episode. You guys said it's like, listen, we gotta get them. So they just said,
yeah, it's only 6 episodes. Like we gotta
move through this at this point. So you know, we get the meeting between the two of them, and of course, Miss Minutes. I don't want to say summoned is the word to use, but she definitely was having some communication with Renslayer about something that she needed her to bring. Miss Minutes needed Renslayer to bring to her. That was about to sound all bad, like she needed to bring to her. That was about to be all bad for a second. At the time, we have no idea what it is, but Miss Minutes says, whatever this item is, this is your moment to do something, and I just need you to take that item, and you need to go put it in this little window right across where we're standing at. Now, before we get into that, Miss Minutes, just her clock self, just being, I don't care what time it is that she's in or whatever, her presence is just, it's almost weird and awkward sometimes when she's just there. Like, I like it. She clearly like just doesn't fit any of the scenarios necessarily we're in, but she's just there. How did you guys think of this first interaction that we've seen between Renslayer and Miss Minutes?
Personally, I enjoyed it. I didn't realize how much I missed Miss Minutes until she was back on the screen. Like, oh, there she goes, little cartoon clock self. Like, I like how she fits in like there, but awkward at the same time. Even from when she, you know, is quoting the newspaper of, you know, the little ghost thing and stuff like that, and she goes big. Like, that's cool. I like it. But I did like the getting right to the answers. Like, Renslayer, Miss Minutes, here they are. We're starting off the episode. Here's what they're looking to do. You know what I mean? And we know, because yes, we follow the MCU, that okay, this is the timely thing. This is from after Ant-Man. Like, we're getting into that right about now. So I appreciate how it started. I liked it.
Mm-hmm. Gage?
Hey, dog. All praise be to Tara Strong, who is voicing Miss Minutes and is the voice of some of my favorite cartoon characters of all time. I hate Miss Minutes. I think like I want to curse about, like, I think that's the dumbest shit that this, like, I think Miss Minutes is the dumbest thing that has happened in the MCU ever, period, point blank, bar none, call it a day. It's the dumbest thing that exists. Like, I was willing to accept like Miss Minutes for like kind of who and what it is or whatever within the confines of the TVA. There is no reason why, for me, Miss Minutes should work in 1860 anything, dog. Like what is she? You know what I'm saying? And like, I know that they kind of tell us that like she's just an AI to play chess or whatever at some point. Dog, how is she visible? How is she visible? How does she show up in the world, on the planet? What spectrum? Where does her light come from? Physically, like, where does she come from, dog? Like, I just think it's the dumbest thing. And like, I really, really need for them to make Miss Minutes so significant in a way that none of that really matters. Because right now, it's the dumbest, like, having Miss Minutes exist, again, when you're talking about time and like, you know what I mean? Like all that kind of stuff and traveling through time, like, obviously if you bring something from the future that works on future tech to the past, it doesn't necessarily mean that thing doesn't work. However, the means for that thing to exist have to come from somewhere. And like, as an AI, that means that she's plugged in, she's part of a computer, like somewhere. Like, bitch has a battery somewhere. Like, you can unplug that joint. You understand what I'm saying? Like, in some manner, like that, like it just, there are so many things they do with Miss Minutes that I think are cool. The flip to like the old school gray, black and white with the old school car, cool.
Mhm.
The thing in the newspaper with the ghost, that's cool. Like, I think trying to like explain it away in like the 1800s and trying to make it make sense, like, but for real, bro, Miss Minutes is the dumbest. It's really dumb right now. And it's one of those things that, like, I have a very difficult time believing that in the next 3 episodes, they're going to give me a satisfactory reason for what it is. Right now, it just feels like a plot device that, like, they, like, that if any of the things that I think about Miss Minutes are true, which I will gladly share with you, I think that Miss Minutes is a variant of some sort that is probably Ravonna Renslayer, that was probably created by Kang because he did not have her, could not get her, did not win her, and she was some sort of an AI program that was something that, like, he did maybe in some other point or whatever in time. And when Ravonna used to play chess together or whatever, if I think back, I feel like there's a chessboard in He Who Remains Palace somewhere in that last episode of, like,
of season
Season 1.
Yeah, I feel like that's a thing somewhere. But, like, and I'm willing to take that to some extent on, like, I need for Miss Minutes to be
something
more yeah, like, just something other than a crazed ex-lover, not ever really, like. And right now, like, the interaction between the two of them, where it's just like, she's the boss, lady in charge, Renslayer, do what I tell you, you know what I mean? Like, to even have to have Ravonna Renslayer tell her, like, yo, you look like real conspicuous right now, you need to do something about that. And then her kind of, is it kind of cool? Yes.
But a floating clock still in 18.
No, bro,
it don't make no sense.
I'm just like, and listen, and again, this is not about suspension of disbelief. This is just like, this doesn't make any sense. Just tell Ravonna Renslayer, hey, there's a package. I don't know where she got the package from. Whatever. There's a package. Take the package to this timeline and put it in that window. She doesn't even need to be there. Miss Minutes doesn't need to be there. Just tell it, this is what I need you to do. Show up at this place at this time, take the package, drop it in that window. That's all I need. I don't even need you to be here. I need I just don't care. And I feel like it's dumb. And I want to care. And towards the end of the episode, I start going, oh, all right, it's about to get real with Miss Minutes. But I still need some explanation. So right now, whatever. She got very explicit instructions from He Who Remains to do this. But it also feels like, if Miss Minutes can do all the things she can do, is she unable to touch physical things?
Why did she just do it herself?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Why didn't she just go drop the joint off herself?
Maybe she can't touch physical things.
I don't know what.
It's either that or somehow that thought did process in my head. It's either that or maybe by some chance, if she touches something, I don't know if that does something weird to whatever.
I can't think of one moment where she's actually like touched and interacted with like something physical in the world. I'm sitting here thinking about it. I can't think of
right. Like in the first season, like she'll jump like in and out of the computer.
Yeah, stuff like
You know what I'm
that.
saying? Like she could be doing that, but her light was like real. Like that's one of the things that like we talked about when we talked about the first season was like she's clearly like a physical thing that's in space because when she's there, she's actually casting orange light on all of the things around her. So she's not a projection. She's an actual thing. But that doesn't make any sense, bro. So like, and I don't know what kind of future we're gonna see or whatever. I'm just saying right now, it's kind of dumb, and I need them to like make it a thing. And the idea of her and Renslayer, because Renslayer is just kind of like blindly following, really more than anything, what Miss Minutes is saying, because everything that she has believed about the TVA and whatever has been proven to be not a real thing, right? The timekeeper is not real, right? You know, being a variant, clearly she saw her own variant, you know what I mean, as a school principal or whatever in the last season. So like she's in this denial phase and it's just like following whatever Miss Minutes is saying for whatever reason. And it seems to me that maybe she's trying to prove to herself that what she's been doing hasn't been fake or hasn't been for naught, that there's a good reason for all of it, and maybe she'll find that. I do feel like she's like Miss Minutes is a variant in some manner, or an AI created based on a variant of Ravonna Renslayer. That's what I think. And that if just knowing what I know about the comics, and that like Kang and Ravonna Renslayer are these kind of like these lovers who never manage to line up, right? Like whenever Kang manages to get to where Ravonna Renslayer is, she dies. Then he like freezes her in time. Then he goes to the future. He dies, and then she wakes up, and now he's not there. And then there's a period of time where she's actually acting as Kang and wearing the outfit and everything. And so like there's just this thing in the comics where there are these lovers who are never manage to line up when they're supposed to be, but maybe they really are supposed to be together or whatever. And I just think that like somewhere in there, maybe we're gonna get it. But there's a lot to unpack if they're trying to do that in terms of what the comics are in like 3 episodes. Right. You know what I'm saying? In like 3 remaining episodes. So for right now, I think what happens in that moment, hey, take this thing, drop it in this window, and we're like, where was she going? What are they doing? What's going on? Like you said, Sin, answers. Miss Minutes?
Yeah.
Get her out of here. I'm good. Get her out of here.
Cool. I dig it. So we don't have to stay on this part too long, but yeah, we do throw it in the window. We do see a young kid, of course, who is actually in there, because it looks like he's working on like an experiment or something of sorts in there.
Making candles.
That was candles that was going on?
So let me explain. He's Victor Timely. He's making candles. They used to use candles as alarm clocks. So they would make candles, make them different lengths. They would put nails in a candle, like in the wax of the candle. And as the candle burns down, when the nail would fall out and hit the ground, that was your alarm. That's when it would tell you, oh, it's time to do whatever it is. He's making alarm clocks.
That's a one-shot thing for one nail hit the ground.
Nah, they would put like multiple, like like it would be like the candle being what it is basically like your clock, and they would just put nails in it.
Right.
And as the candle burns down, the nail would fall out. I don't know, dog. Just look it up. I know stuff I don't have.
It's all good. We'll go into and listen, that's a whole nother segment. My man can explain these.
I forgot we saw Spider-Man or whatever for a second. I'm like, hold on, we doing all right, nails at the side, alarm clocks. Hold up.
Cool. Well, he got it out the way. Like obviously,
we know this is Victor Timely. Stuff that's related to time. That's all. Like I don't, you know what I mean?
Cool. That pretty much sums up that initial visit there. We don't need to talk too much. After this scene, we do jump back to the TVA with Loki, Mobius, and the rest of the crew. Honestly, this was just a quick little conversation between them. Obviously, we know what the Loom in immediate doom is on its way. OB is that's his thing right now. It's just like, we're gonna die. Like that's just his thing. But that was literally the whole conversation they had there. Loki was just like, listen, we just need to go get Renslayer. We find Renslayer, we find Miss Minutes, and we can get this figured out and go from there. That was pretty much the gist of that whole conversation that they had in there. Obviously, Ravonna's time pad that she had triggered for the time that she was in where she dropped off the package to Victor Timely. So they go there. She's nowhere to be found. At that point, they do track her to a different location, same place, just this time it's in 1893. Now, one thing to notice, we do jump to 1893. Loki and Mobius go there, and it does specifically say that this is a branch timeline. And I know for a lot of people, this is the part that's probably going to start getting confusing after time. I didn't mean a pun by that, but yeah, it's gonna get you confused. So clearly, and what Ravonna and Miss Minutes have done in dropping that package off clearly has changed the outcome of something at this point. They
created. So here's what I think. I think dropping, because I don't think you ever said what they dropped through the window.
No, I didn't get to that yet.
Dropping the TVA guidebook into young Victor Timely's window created a branch timeline that was different from what he would have been or whatever had that not happened, right? So they created a Nexus event or whatever it is, created a branch timeline. However, what I think happened, I think it created a bunch of branch timelines. I think that moment, dropping the TVA guidebook there, created all the Kangs, created all the different variants of Kang, all of the different things that could have happened beyond the sacred timeline happened in that moment, and that he specifically told them he knows what version of quote unquote Victor Timely is the one that becomes He Who Remains. Like, he knows who he is. So he tells them, drop the book and then go to this time on this branch. Right? Like, this is who you need to go get, because he is the only one that, again, can do what needs to be done. Again, I think we're looking at an Ouroboros, can do what needs to be done to fix the Loom, because he might be the only one that actually created that thing. You know what I'm saying? Or understood it in that way. But also will also be the one who can defeat all the other versions of him that exist. So I think, and maybe we'll see it in the next episode, that them dropping the book created a bunch of branch
timelines. Yeah. Because the thing I was wondering at that point is, like, going to 1893, like, obviously He Who Remains told Miss Minutes, told her to say whatever, where to go to on there, and Loki and Mobius followed. But it's like, I wonder if they actually know that I feel like they should know that they're on a branched version of 1893. But for some reason, maybe they don't realize that, at least as of yet, that it's a branched version of the timeline, because they don't know what happened. They don't know what Renslayer and Miss Minutes did there. So as far as I guess they know at this point, it is technically, they're still on the sacred timeline. But since said of
let me ask you a question, Jokes. How did they follow Renslayer from the first point
to the second one?
To the second one.
As far as I can tell, it's from when they originally tracked her. It seems like they tracked her to 1863 and then somehow tracked her the same time pad to 1893. They didn't really make, I think, a detailed explanation to that, other than the fact that they said that they tracked it. I feel like they said they tracked it to the other place. It was a little weird, but I don't think it was fully fleshed out, other than the fact that we tracked it to this other time frame. I guess without having all those extra branch timelines that at this point a lot of them have already been pruned, I guess more have grown back. And this, I don't know.
I mean, if what I think happened, then they just created a bunch of new timelines anyway.
Right.
So for all the ones that got pruned, they just made a whole bunch more on there for it. But yeah, I don't think they fully flushed that out, other than just saying that they tracked her to 1893. But of course, we get to 1893, and it's clearly a world of a difference from what they were in beforehand. Clearly, technology is a little more advanced in comparison to when they were back there in 1863. And at this point, Loki and Mobius are just having a little bit of a conversation with each other. Like, we got to figure this out. We got to find her. Loki kind of just wants to jump in, but Mobius is like, we got to find the trail. We got to find these breadcrumbs. So we've seen how Mobius works in the way that he wants to do certain things. As they're walking and have a conversation, little boy selling newspapers is just moving through them, and just says a couple of things, but then he says ghost clock, and saying ghost clock was immediate. It was like, hold up, that's a breadcrumb. And of course they buy a newspaper, look at it, and clearly Miss Minutes is in the newspaper. Like, I feel like for what is trying to be accomplished with them, Miss Minutes is not trying to be subtle in any type of way. Like, I get it. I guess it's not going to affect anything, but maybe at the same time she's doing this for a purpose.
Or I'm gonna say it, or maybe it does. Like, maybe it's a part of the plan. Certain things have to be in place at those times. Get everybody to get scared and run off this way, so something over here can happen to, move things in the way they need it.
But aside from that portion of it, we'll skip to Loki and Mobius actually figuring out how to find Victor Timely. But on their pathway, on their searching, this is kind of an Easter egg that we run into. Loki and Mobius stopping right outside of, I think it was like a theater almost. And we have a couple of statues, like wooden statues that are set up there. And obviously Thor and Odin, to the majority of people, as soon as you see those two, when you hear those names, immediate, you're like, oh, we know that. But then there's the third one, Boulder. Now, Gage, I know for you, I think me and you kind of know the name from comics and knowing where's that. Sin, I know for you, I don't know if Boulder resonated. Yeah, I kind of.
But no, yeah, I knew it. Put like this, I knew it was important at that moment. Okay, that's an Easter egg of some sort. I don't know what it is. I just know it's important.
Are you unfamiliar? Hold on. Are you unfamiliar? But you know who Balder is. Like, you've heard of. I mean, clearly Baldur's Gate 3 is a big thing right now. You know what Balder is,
right?
You know Baldur's Gate. Did you play God of War 2018?
The first one.
Yes.
Yeah. Beat that one and everything. Yeah.
That first major fight that he has outside the shack in the snow.
That's Balder?
That's Balder.
He's fighting Balder.
Oh, okay.
So, Sam, I guess the easiest way to say this, Balder's their brother. He's not yet. Hey, we just...
Okay.
So here's the
badass. Okay.
Here's the thing. So Balder was supposed to be in one of the. He was supposed to be in Thor the Dark. He was supposed to be in one of them.
Yeah.
Okay.
Or two of the movies, and it was supposed to be Daniel Craig. Was supposed to play Balder. And there's like, you can find
there's artwork. There's like stuff drawn up, like the concept work, everything.
Yeah. And there's like the way that they made the statue looks like how he looks in the comic. It looks like the version that Daniel, like it, Balder is basically like another rival sort of to Thor within the comics, which is interesting because at the end of the last Thor, they made the big deal about Hercules, and Zeus. Maybe Balder somewhere comes to play later on, but
yeah, I think that'll be a later on play. But I think it makes me wonder if, because like even Loki says, like he's like the hidden brother, I guess will be the way to say it. Loki even said it himself. It's like does anybody even know who Boulder even is having him there? And I'm wondering if that is effect of maybe them pulling Loki out of one of the timelines, and maybe instead of it being that should have probably been Loki up there,
Right.
Yeah,
it ends up becoming Boulder at that point. So I feel like we'll probably see this. Gage, this is possibly something that you're talking about, that either we may get a resolution for this eventually, or this is going to be something they threw the egg in there and we're never going to go back and revisit it. I feel like there's been so many core things that we have been thrown into from the last episode to this one, that this may just be stuff to throw in as fan service and then we never go back to it ever again.
Yeah, I mean, look, for a show that spent so much time like talking about variants and showing you variants and how different one variant can be from the next, it seems really weird to me that like Loki would go somewhere and see Thor and Odin and Balder and just not assume that like, oh, well, we're in a branch timeline where things are different here than the timeline I came from. That's like, it just, I don't know. It just seems like it shouldn't be that big of a deal. You know what I mean? Like, I think at this point, bro, like you met like 15 other Lokis, ones that ran for presidents, ones that were alligators, crocodiles,
Right.
babies. Your love interest is a female version of you dog. Like,
Yeah.
why are you, yeah, like, okay,
Right,
so
so
in
shocked
this
at this
point,
point.
yeah, there is no Loki or, you know, whatever. Like, what, you know what I mean? Like, it just, I don't know. Again, storytelling, dog, and variants and stuff like that. It's just like, whatever.
Yeah, so
Whatever.
Right.
whether
Cool
we'll
Easter
figure
egg.
whether this will lead to something eventually, like he could be a hero down the road, whatever, or this is just something they threw in just to do it and whatever. But that was a cool little Easter egg, but we'll see how if it ever pans out. But fast forward, we do find Victor Timely. Now, at this point, when Loki and Mobius come to, I guess you could say it's an auditorium where he's getting ready to put on a presentation. Or demonstration, probably the better word I should use for it. You know, they do discover that Ravonna is also in there eyeing out Victor Timely. Now, at that point, now we've seen this clip early on when they were doing previews for season 2, and we knew Loki and Mobius saw what they thought was He Who Remains in there, but it actually really just Victor Timely.
That was the after credit scene in Ant-Man.
For Ant-Man, yeah.
That's what got it.
Yeah.
So at that time, you know, that's where it seemed like it was going to, and the way they ominously like portrayed him in that virtual second there for it. But clearly, Loki, as soon as he sees him, that's the immediate association to it. It's He Who Remains. It's a variant, whatever. Mobius don't take him seriously at all. He just sees him as like this is the guy that's like the one that we're supposed to be worried about. Like,
yes,
like
that is the guy.
He downplayed the whole entire thing. Like, obviously he's a variant, so he shouldn't know certain things, but yeah, Mobius downplayed it to the 10th degree. But while we're in here, he's got to put on this demonstration. Now, I'll tell you, dude was selling his loom jump that he had in there. Like, he was trying to sell the hell out of it.
Oh, he was.
He did a presentation. He made it known. You know, Edison created the light bulb. He doesn't want to just power one thing. You know, he wants to power the whole entire planet. Starts doing starts doing his little dance, shimmy show, whatever he wants. And you know, he just starts to show that how everything will light up. And we get an actual. It looks like the loom. Like, it literally looks like a small form factor version of the loom.
Literally what I said last week.
It is. Yeah.
It is literally just a small version of the loom.
As soon as I saw it, I was like, okay, yeah, James was right. Yeah, we gotta bring him back. We gotta get the loom together.
Yep.
Like, he just made a miniature loom
version of it right now for us. So, you know, as soon as they see that, it's immediate like, hey, we need to bring him back to the TVA because we can use his aura. This is what Moby said. We can use his aura to unlock. Now, I'm hearing this, and at the same time, I'm just like, this just sounds so bad right now. Like, even though he doesn't necessarily know what the He Who Remains and all, like, this just sounds bad to just bring him back to the TVA. They have a whole entire thing. You know, we start to see that timely. I don't want to say he's a full-on con artist.
No, Slim's a con man, dog.
Straight up, bro.
Yeah, dog. Like I don't know what you like. Slim's
Yeah.
a con man. Like I'm not saying he's not smart.
That's what I was gonna say. Like my man is smart. He is smart, but
what con man isn't smart? All con men are like.
When the man
Smart.
runs up on him about the pants, and he instantly like shrinks down. No, like you look taller than me. I'm like, look, I said I'm like, no, he's risking you right now, bro. Like,
Hey, listen.
you don't see this? Like, he a con artist, bro.
the mayor's dumb. Like,
Like,
I was
Hey,
waiting.
you
Man,
straight up.
Loki like
Won't
gave
you
him
bring
respect.
back to the shop.
I
I
was
told
like,
you it's a prototype, but you
Yeah.
look taller than me. Won't you come back to the shop?
Hey, the second he shrunk down and started saying that beat, I died laughing. I was like, I see what you're doing, Tom.
Hey, no, real talk. I like that joint happened. I said, my man is dripping with the net. In front of everybody, dog, just finessing it.
Hey,
Nobody
he was
else is
working
gonna
it.
say, why you stooping down like that, dog? Like nobody.
Yeah.
He did.
yeah,
Con man, dog.
he finessed all of them. So first of all, after his whole presentation was done, this one guy came up and was, just saying, hey, I want to make a bid towards buying your prototype up here. And we find out this dude literally, he had him in his pocket after he sold it to, I don't know the dude's name, for $1,000. At that time, $1,000 went a very long.
A lot of money.
That's a lot of money back in the day.
My man had stacks, bruh.
Straight up. Straight at the carnival.
Oh,
He was ready.
What? Now, here's the thing. This is what I feel like is so important, and I feel like it's kind of overshadowed. It kind of becomes a big deal, and I'm hoping that it is a theme that plays out through the rest of the show. Because the first Brammer that walks up is like, I want to be your partner. And my man's like, I don't do partners. And here's the thing. For me, once you start to realize that he's a con man, that he's running a con, then you understand why he doesn't do partner. Because I'm not trying to like have you in here, because then you're going to find out what I'm doing. I'm looking to sell this joint. So now I'm going to step up. I'm going to take my money from the highest bidder. You can have the whole thing. I don't do partners, right? So that makes sense to me that he's like, partners, I don't get down like that because I'm up to something. You know what I'm saying? And that means that you're going to be in my business. When it comes up again later, it seems like a much more personal thing, and that there's a personal reason why he quote unquote doesn't do partners and is turned off by the idea or concept, or that he just doesn't like the idea of sharing credit. Period. Not sharing credit with anybody for what it is that I have done, or you know what I'm saying, whatever. I'm hoping that it's a theme that plays out and it was more than just a reason to do what he did by the end of the episode. But I do think that was an important moment where he's like, nah, no partners. I don't do partners.
He got serious. Like it went from, he had like that a very light tone, cheering like, hey, to the best bidder, to just that, we don't do this. That was it. So no, definitely, because that ended up playing. That definitely plays out a piece, and we'll talk about that. But of course, after the main guy that won the bid, he found out, my man conned him out of that $1,000. Finds.
How did you know, dog? Like
I don't know. I tried to. He bought 2 wires, like 2.
Yeah,
Hey, listen. I don't know. Maybe it's just because I don't know electrical engineering or something like that. I don't know if just those 2
that didn't make sense to me
properly. I need to go back and look at it again. But he knew it was a fake. I don't know. I do not know.
2 random wires you yanked from all of that, and you just know he on some BS. Like it didn't make
there's
any
not
sense.
a single person who was in that presentation who understood
Absolutely not.
Other
a
than
single
lights.
bit of the nonsense this Brahma was spitting. My man was just like, I am going to power the world with time.
Science.
My man's just like, time is power, and I'm going to power the planet with time. He doesn't explain how it works.
Nope.
My man flips a switch, lightning comes out, and all these dummies like, oh,
Money.
Here's my credit card.
time is power. So cool. You want to buy in? You buying a joint for $1,000? You don't know how it works. How do you know this man is conning you? It's just it's snake oil, bruh.
Yeah.
But it's not snake oil. Like, because even if somebody was selling you snake oil back in the day like that, you got to try it. Somebody has to get like bit by a snake, drink snake oil, and die for them to be like,
we
hey,
shouldn't do that.
It doesn't do what you said it does.
how do you know, dog? Like, it's kind of dumb, and they just need a reason for somebody to chase my man.
Got another
Like
chase
Looney
scene.
Tunes style.
Yeah, and put the old time music
With
on
the music
and
behind it.
everything. Yeah.
The Simpsons on, dog. Just
Mhm.
be the Simpsons running through the World's Fair.
That joke was funny. But obviously, the chase ensues. We gotta catch my man timely now because he didn't conned us out of $1,000. But of course now everybody's chasing him because Loki and Mobius want him back for TVA. Ravonna wants him for whatever they're playing, what Miss Minutes is that they're doing. My man just wants his $1,000 back, so we all chasing him. Hey, Victor Timely did do some moves and lost him for a couple of seconds, but eventually he does end up in. It looks like it's like a train car almost that they were in that like moves from place to place or whatever. But Loki ends up in there with him.
Bro,
Ferris wheel?
it was a train car Ferris wheel.
Yeah.
Loki catches up to him, but in the meantime, of course, unknown to him, Sylvia's there, of course, waiting as well too. And the only plan that she has is to put this man down.
Kill Timely. That's it.
And no ifs, ands, or buts. He
I
needs
told
to
you, bro.
die.
What would happen if I see another variant and it's on site?
On sight.
Yeah.
And hey, she tries to kill my man. Loki does a few little magic bob and weave type of things to make sure my man don't get murked. But eventually Sylvie and Loki's powers, of course, they just shoot at one another. They just explode out. Timely and Loki are on the outside laying on the ground. Meantime, Ravonna comes in. She kind of swoops up my man Timely. And of course, she asks Miss Minutes, like, listen, this is the time for you to do your thing. And this is where we get giant ghost Miss Minutes. Like, it was weird. Like, it's just weird and just out of place kind of in there, but we need a way to create this distraction and so we can get Timely and dip out.
I mean, whatever. Loki made a man disappear, dog, and put that man in a cave.
In a cave.
Straight up.
Like, I don't know why Andre, the Abraham Lincoln giant, was trying to fight my man. He puffer smoked that man in front of everybody.
He
God,
straight
Loki
up
will
did.
be here all day.
Bam.
Hold on.
Oh,
Again, listen, bro. Suspension of disbelief.
I get it.
Loki made a man disappear, puff of smoke, green sparkles in front of all these people. And you're telling me that man knew that what Victor Timely sold him was fake? This is the dumbest. Hey, bro, it's so dumb. It's so dumb.
He runs up with two of the biggest ass wires I've ever seen. Hey, You cheated me.
I have to look it up. Like, I don't know from an electrical standpoint. I don't know if those two wires actually really meant something just showing off to somebody. I don't know, but I need to know. I just have to know.
The joint had to be plugged into something. There was clearly a lot of electricity flowing through that joint. Anyway, I'm just saying. I don't know, dog. Miss Minutes being a ghost, okay. You know, whatever.
Nah, cool.
I don't.
Yeah.
I will ask you this:
Mm-hmm.
how did Sylvie find him?
Hey, bro.
Last time we saw her, she was still at the TV. Did she leave the TVA? I know she didn't seem like.
She went back to McDonald's.
I
remember at the end of the joint, she was at McDonald's because the last time we talked, I was like, "Yo."
She said she wanted to go back to her time.
Like, and the little boy came out and she was like, "Are your parents coming to get you or whatever?"
At the end of the last episode, she was at the TVA watching watching Mystical Man happen on the screen. No. She was behind everybody. Yeah.
She walked in, saw it, got mad, turned around, walked out.
You're right. Or they don't show it.
At the end of the episode,
Loki's looking at her and you hear it open.
We talked about it at the end of the last episode. I'm like, how do we know her timeline didn't get pruned? Because she was literally laying on her truck in front of the McDonald's with the lights off, and the boy comes out, says something to her like he kind of has like a little crush on her or whatever. And then she's like, "Are your parents coming to get you?" And he's like, "Yeah." And they show her, that's the reminder, she has the ultimate temp pad. She has He Who Remains temp pad. Yeah. The joint that just looks like a circle with like gold lines through the joint. You know what I'm saying? Like it broke before and was remade. It looks like marble or whatever. So I could maybe give them, well, she's got He Who Remains temp pad. So clearly
that should give her the edge when it comes time for her.
Hey, but no, I feel like
she should have been able to go kill him beforehand, before they even did
any. She should be able to go find any variant of Slim and Merc dude.
Yeah, she should have the edge.
Oh God!
But she can't because she showed up at the end of time in the elevator to rescue Loki, and then Loki got pruned, and we still don't know who pruned my man.
Yep.
Valid. Let's see if we'll ever get an answer.
But I'm just saying, she found him somehow and just showed up, and they had another fight, and it was cool.
But obviously, chase happens. We'll skip a little bit of then. The chase honestly didn't really mean too much, other than the fact that Timely knows how to get low and hide and do all that. But there is a conversation that that is had between Victor Timely, Miss Minutes, and Ravonna Renslayer, and this is kind of their pitch to him, and trying to convince him that they're the ones that he wants to allow to help at this point. You clearly see that my man is trying to woo Ravonna a little bit out there. He shows her his refrigeration chair. Like, man was super amped to show that joint off. Like, here, just touch the bottom.
I remember it was a head of lazy boy.
Hey, listen, he tried to sell it, but this is where we really start hearing some of the details, and they're filling him in and seeing what he understands almost, and they're trying to put certain things in place for him to make it really seem like he's needed. We need you to do this, but you can clearly see he's a little reluctant. But when somebody comes knocking at that door, it's kind of like, okay, now we need to get low. It's like, you know what?
Where do they want him to go? Where are Miss Minute and Ravonna trying to take? We know that Mobius
and Loki
are trying to get him back to the TVA to help fix the time loop. Where is Miss Minutes trying to take Slim?
I'm thinking, obviously, I don't know if they're trying to put him back at the end of time, or I don't know if he's needed to be there to do something. Maybe, obviously, he doesn't know. But outside of that, I don't know exactly where it is that they're trying to take him to. Because as of right now, there's no on their end. Their explanation is very vague. Like
yeah, I'm gonna say away from them, away from Loki and Mobius. Like, let's get them.
Yeah, but they didn't even know that Mobius and Loki were gonna be there.
Very true.
So, like, the plan of, like, I guess what I'm asking is, what is He Who Remains plan? If the plan was, hey, go to this time, drop off the book,
package,
then go to this time, find him, and then do what?
That I don't know, because that's where everything gets confused at. Because that's when Mobius and Loki show up, and
It's
they don't
almost like
they don't ever explain any of that.
Right? Because for me, it's like if they want to take him back to the TVA, and Mobius wants to take him back to the TVA, I don't understand what the problem is.
Right.
You know, like,
they could have grabbed him, knocked him out, and took him, and took him near the thing, and his aura should have just done whatever magic. But yeah, they're whatever it is they're trying to do. Like, clearly, Renslayer has whatever it is she wants to do, even though she's getting it from Miss Minutes and technically He Who Remains. But clearly, Miss Minutes there's an ulterior motive. Like, it's clearly there. You can see it.
And that is my question for you, Joe.
And that is the part that I'm like, it's clear she wants to be like, we're jumping a little bit further. She wants to be with him. And like, I know and just like you said, if this is a Renslayer variant in some shape or form, or it's just this AI has just gotten out of control, that has grown this love attachment to He Who Remains or Kang as, I don't know if it's necessarily He Who Remains or just Kang as a whole. Like, it's almost sickening the whatever connection that they have, but we don't have any of those pieces to really understand, other than he gave me the ability to have my own free will to develop my own programs to do what I see fit. Almost like he gave her own, full life. But there's no explanation as to where it is.
Yeah, he's just like, why didn't you give me a body? Let me get, like, listen. It makes me wonder whether or not He Who Remains actually sent them back to do that.
I don't think so.
Or if Miss Minutes is just acutely aware and was like, this is my chance. Like, I'm going to be with Slim. This is how I'm going to do it. I'm going to take the guidebook. I'm going to go back. I'm going to give it to this dude. And then I'm going to go meet him at this point. You know what I'm saying? And hopefully I can become his
thing.
I think she's also trying to create a body for herself too. Just the way she kind of like phased in to put her face on that mannequin or whatever. Like, I think that's an underlining goal of hers. Like, just to be with He Who Remains.
She's going to become another Superbot. Keep this up. I don't know.
Again, unanswered questions, dog. It's really weird. Yeah. This Minutes is weird, bro. Like, I don't know. I don't get it.
It's weird. I need more substance. You guys, like, please don't. Like, the ball feels like it could get dropped with this. And that part scares me. That Miss Minutes is about to just become like, almost like how Snoke was in Star Wars. Like, it's just like, why? But
no, I mean, I think that I do think that they are leaning into Miss Minutes being significant and a reason for it. And I do think we're going to get that. Like, I do think we're going to see or end up in another timeline or see the creation of Miss Minutes in some way, or why she was created or something. Like, I feel like we have to get some of that background of what Ravonna and Kang are supposed to be, or whatever, and how Miss Minutes plays in. And I only say that because, again, Marvel is really playing up this whole Miss Minutes thing. right? Like,
Yeah.
you can go on Facebook, Instagram, and have Miss Minutes. Like, literally, I almost forgot the episode went live, and I got a notification
Miss Minutes
in my
popped up.
Instagram from Miss Minutes. Like, episode live. I was like, it is 9:02. Okay. Like, to me, you don't lean into a character that heavily, put her on product and whatever, if you don't intend in some way for it to have some level of significance beyond just like, she's this kind of crazy AI that wants to. But it also would seem to me that if she's not out, there was a thought for a minute for me that like maybe Miss Minutes was a some sort of a weird Kang variant. I also still think that there's a possibility that Ravonna in the MCU is some sort of a Kang variant, the way Sylvie is a Loki variant, and there's like a love thing there. But it also seemed weird to me, again, that like, you know, he's like flirting with her and gives her a little flower or whatever, and kind of like tries to hold her hand, and she's like, I think we'll be great partners. And my man was like,
oh, I was gonna say before we get to the end that we had to stop there, because that was the look, Miss Minutes, that whole scene, there was like, she was just plotting. You could see she was getting irritated. Like, I loved how they kept moving her into like the different frames with them, and every single time you just saw the disappointment on her face. But once that word partnership came up, you saw her in the back behind Kane. You saw
she was like,
yes.
No, it's like she was in his ear, like, you heard that? She said partners.
But clearly he has an issue with that, because the moment she said that, his hand, like right when they were having that moment of connection, pulled that hand back. Oh no, I want no parts of that. Hey, and they just dropped her on on like the emergency.
I couldn't tell whether he was just like, oh no, I don't do partners, or if he was just completely turned off by the fact that she seemed like she's not interested in him because she said partner. Like, for her, it's just business, and for him, he's thinking maybe it could have been
than that. Yeah,
correct. So I'm still a little like not sure about that when he's just like, I don't do partners, right? The business side of him that's like, I don't do partners, and the version of him that when she said that was like completely turned off, it's still kind of like left up in the air whether it's like, oh no, because I don't do partners, or if it's like, you know, oh, I thought we was about to be,
right.
You know what I mean? Like, I was trying to, like, no, you just met shorty. Like, relax a little bit. You know what I mean? Come on, Vic. Chill out.
Relax, my guy.
But I do think that, yes, that means that there's going to be that the idea of the whole partnership, him having to do things on his own, or being the conqueror, or again, not wanting to share credit in some way, is going to be a big deal. And it does lead me to believe that the fact that Miss Minutes questioned why he never gave her a body, I think is because if he gave her a body, he would have to make her a partner. Like, he would have to share, like, she would have too much control. She would be able to do things that she can clearly do a bunch of things in terms of like her ability to run the time loom and
but there's still a limit. Yeah, there's still a limit to what she can do.
But there's a limit by her not having a like, again, she does have a physical form, but she doesn't have a body. So, and again, like, I don't know. Like, I'm saying to you, like, I don't know. I feel like she's not a projection, but then she wrapped herself around the head of that mannequin, which was like a projection wrapped around the joint. I don't understand the tech, whatever. Take me to the future somewhere where Kang is just the way Kang is and can make things and do things
and just do it.
Minute makes sense. But yeah, like, clearly I think that there's an intention for her to be modeled after someone that he doesn't want to give credit. He wants credit for being able to say he created Miss Minutes, if she is an AI that he created just to play chess with him, or to keep, again, because he's alone, and he maybe chooses to be alone because he don't want to share credit. You know what I'm saying? Or whatever it is, but he don't necessarily want to be alone. So I need somebody to play chess with. I need somebody, whatever. So he created this, and then maybe he was too good. Maybe she couldn't beat him, or, you know what I'm saying, whatever. And he just wanted, so let me add a little more autonomy. Let me make it so that, Miss Minutes can do these other things or whatever. But I'm not gonna give you a body, because if I give you a body,
then we gotta be. You want more out of this. Yeah.
But you could kill me. You know what I'm saying? Like, you could kill me and take over, or do, you know what I'm saying, whatever you want with the TVA. And like, somebody made the timekeepers. They were clearly robots.
Yeah.
Something. And so if he did that, he can clearly make something that has a body. You know what I'm saying? And it would seem to me that with all the control she has as an AI, she could just take one of those bodies
and just be done.
But I think that she knows that in some variance somewhere, he has a thing for Ravana. I think that he maybe made her, quote unquote, in Ravana's image in some way, but never gave her Ravana's body, because then he might feel the way about Miss Minutes that Miss Minutes feels about him, and that's why she don't bang with Ravana. She kept her on a short leash, wanted to keep her in control, had her like, nope, do what I say, do this, nope, do this thing, whatever, and kind of kept her in the loop but out of the loop. You know what I mean? And that makes sense to me. Now I just need them to explore that and help me make that make sense, because right now I'm having to make up my own.
Hey, that's what we do. That's what we're here to do.
And next week, they're not going to talk about none of that.
Oh, nah.
No. Let's hope not. I know we kind of know where it's gonna be. Let's hope not. But we'll just kind of make our way to the end. But Miss Minutes made that whole interaction so awkward. When she was
so
just
weird, bro.
So weird and so awkward when they were in the room together.
Yeah.
And it's all my man, because she was talking like, we can be together and all that. My man went to that time pad, off, get back, like super quick.
He grabbed that pad, bro.
He didn't know how to use that damn thing. He's just like, one of these buttons shuts you the hell up. Got it.
How does this dude have a steampunk pruning rod?
Hey, bro.
I don't know. I don't know.
Hey, listen.
I don't care if he has the guidebook. I don't care. Where's the tech? How does this man have a pruning rod? And what does it do? How does he know what it? He don't know what it does.
He just made it.
Up like it was a Gatling gun.
Dog, like that's what
she did.
I didn't know what it was at first. I was like, yo,
shotgun. I thought she was just going to shoot in that.
And she's just like, hey, Slim, I'll prune you. Wait a minute.
Hey, cuz. You do what this thing do?
You saw Shawty, I'll prune you, dog.
Let me show you real quick. Roll that mannequin.
Hit that mannequin like, oh.
I will vaporize you, Slim.
Hey, dog. He has to have tested that on something.
Something had to get hit by that. Yeah. Like, ooh, too much power. I don't know. He just put that joint in the back. It's like, I'm not going to use that. Nope. I don't know. But after that, of course, Loki, Mobius, they all show up in there. They're like, we need him to come with us. Ravana's not letting that happen. Sylvie does end up showing up, and she ends up helping out Loki and Mobius. I didn't see that coming, honestly. I thought she was just going to show up and try to kill my man again.
Status quo.
But she ends up just letting Mobius and Loki actually take him back to the TVA. All I know is hell's gonna break loose when they take this dude back to the TVA. I don't know exactly what's gonna happen.
But again, she's right. And if it's an Ouroboros, he has to go fix the time loop.
Yep.
He has to fix the loom in order for any of all of it to work.
Yep.
Right? Like, if they don't have the right temporal aura, And I don't know why they would think He Who Remains is the one who has the aura, because I would think that would be Miss Minutes. But then I'm like, does she even have an aura? She's an AI.
Right.
But she also used to run everything.
Mm-hmm.
But also, Loki is time slipping through the TVA, and the TVA exists outside of time.
Make it make sense.
So is that a quantum realm
slipping
thing?
type of problem type of thing?
You got me.
I don't know. I feel like we'll make another visit back to Ant-Man. Like, hey, your gadget messing with me.
Well, again, clearly there is a Kang that does exist in the MCU on the sacred timeline, in the quantum realm. So somebody put Slim there. And I think that is Kang the Conqueror. And I think Timely is He Who Remains.
Could be. Or we could be completely wrong too.
That's not possible, Joe.
Hey, witness protection was that is
not a thing anymore. Witness protection is not a thing
I know what you're
anymore.
talking about, dog. Like we haven't been wrong about that.
You're right. Nope, you're right. You're right. But we'll close it out at the very end. So Sylvie did end up staying back and was literally looking like she was going to kill Renslayer when she kicked it, but she ended up just kicking her through a portal, and she ended up back at the end of time with the body of He Who Remains, who is still sitting in the chair that he was killed in.
Hey, Slim been dead a minute.
Because his body,
what?
That don't rot, decompose. Like, I don't know how much time. I clearly they went further in head. I don't know, but Renslayer shows up there. She does have the pad that ends up having Miss Minutes in it. After what Miss Minutes did, it seems like we're still kind of working together. Like, it's weird, awkward. I don't know.
I don't think that she's aware that I don't think that she is aware that Miss Minutes would have had anything to do with the fact that he dropped her off the thing.
True.
She was asleep. No, listen.
Yeah,
she fell asleep and he put her in a lifeboat. He picked her up. She didn't wake up. He picked her up, laid her in a lifeboat.
He ejected
dropped
her
the
off
lifeboat
the
off the side.
Yeet.
Off the
He
side of
said,
Yeet. Hit him with that
100%.
Jey Uso.
but
I don't. You know, I'm not saying Miss Minutes didn't talk him into it. I'm saying she went to sleep. When she woke up,
but he was the one that physically
was
had
on
to
the
go
side of the
about
boat.
and do everything. Yeah.
Yeah, and Miss Minutes was like, yeah, she said partner. She said that word that you don't like.
well, also, they didn't kill her.
No. Probably should have, maybe.
Because
But
they could have just been like, hey, chuck Slim over the side of the joint. Like, they left her a boat.
yeah. Gave her a
I don't know
chance.
what they thought she was going to do. She was rowing
Dog,
real hard, bro.
2 oars.
Facts.
They gave her the. She was going. She had to find the rhythm. She started going for it.
Hey,
I
dog,
don't know how
they
far she had to
put
go,
her on a
but-
lifeboat with oars. Where did they think she was going to go?
They must not have gone that far either, because I'm like that would have been a mean. Whatever.
It's been a long time, y'all. I haven't had to say it, but I'm really like, this joint's dumb. It's getting dumb, y'all.
Oh God.
It's getting dumb.
But
And I'm starting to like, it's not terrible. It's not like Obi-Wan. Like, Obi-Wan's terrible. Boba Fett was also terrible. This isn't terrible. It's just like, again, I'm very concerned that we're halfway through And I don't feel like we have anywhere near the answers.
No, we don't.
Mhm.
We don't.
We have.
Well, hopefully
So-
next episode we're gonna get answers, because when we close the episode out, clearly Miss Minutes is about to fill Ravonna in on something, and she specifically says, "It's like, I'm gonna tell you something. This show is gonna make you extremely mad." Which,
Right, and that's why I'm telling you, they about to listen. We about to go to a different time period. You about to see him and her, like you gonna see.
Mhm.
but we'll see how that goes come next week. But let's just go around
I
one more
think she's about
time.
to find out how Slim been yanking people out of their time frames.
I don't know.
That could be possible.
him
I
just
know Mobius has to end up on a jet ski, bro.
before the season, the
Yes,
season's over,
yes.
or just before the series is over.
Clearly, it's not. I don't think it's
It's
if
an
it's not
after
this
credits
episode. It's not gonna be in the no. They're not gonna do. It's gonna be in the show.
Mhm.
It's gonna be in the show.
We had to open up an episode.
Cause look,
The
cause the other
finale.
thing is, it also would appear they've been like kind of leaning towards this since last season
Mhm.
that like Mobius and Renslayer were a thing, like
Mhm.
was an item, like were together, and it is making me wonder if she's going to show like in some timeline, like maybe that timeline where she was a principal, he was a jet ski salesperson or whatever, and they was a couple, you know what I'm saying, or something like that. Like it just, I do still think that there's something there, because there still is, like they had a little bit of banter in this one where they kind of go back and forth,
Yeah.
Mhm.
and it doesn't seem like, oh, we used to be time cop partners. Like Mobius doesn't seem to have ever been what like B-15 was.
Right.
My man's always been an analyst, as far as he knows.
Yeah.
For 400 years, my man been an analyst. You know, it just, I don't.
Hopefully we'll find out. But
Episode 5.
5.
Episode
Mobius
5.
on the jet ski. If it don't happen in this one, it has to happen by 5, because it's not going to be in the last episode. Last episode, they're going to have too much to fix and to explain. They're going to be messing around with jet skis, dog. Period.
After credit,
Alright.
mid credit, and after credit scene. But we'll find out by the coming in. But let's just go around one more time. Let's see. Gage we're still at a 7.
7, dog.
7.
It's done.
Sin still at an 8.
I'm at a 7.
At 7.
I'm at a 7.
Hey, look.
You know, we have these conversations. You know, you start looking and breaking things down. You're like, yeah, that was some BS.
It's
yeah.
tomfoolery, I think is the way to say it. But
A lot of that.
I'm at like a 7.5. Like I still thoroughly enjoyed it, but there's too many whys. We just need some answers. But hopefully we'll get some more answers versus more questions when it comes time for episode 4. But until then, this has been your spoiler boys for season 2 Loki episode 3. What did you guys think of the episode? Let us know in the comments. Are you thoroughly enjoying it right now, or is there some more
Did I
explaining?
just mess it up for you?
Your Gage just messed it up for you. Drop it in the comments. Let us know. Reach out to us. Like, let us know, because right now we're kind of all over the place when it comes to for Loki right now. Let us know what you think. But for the homie Gage, for the homie Sin, this is Jokes. This has been Spoiler Boys. We'll catch you next week, same time, same place. Deuces.
Loading snacks. Ow.